So Donald Trump did something in public yesterday, leaving the White House for his first public appearance since the riotous insurrection last week. Donald Trump was heading out from the White House en route to the U.S.-Mexico border in Texas to tell predictable lies about the wall that was never built and that Mexico did not pay for. Let's get right into it. Donald Trump attempting to rewrite history, blaming other people, doing everything we would expect at this point from this deranged man. This was on his way out to Texas.
So we're going to Texas. We're going to the southern border. As you know, we've completed the wall. They may want to expand it. We have the expansion underway. It's been tremendously successful, far beyond what anyone thought. We're stopping in large numbers the drugs coming into the country for many, many years and decades.
We completed the wall and they may want to expand it. Hold on a second. That doesn't make sense. The promise was by the end of Trump's first term, which is 7 days from now, a wall across the entire U.S.-Mexico border. If you did that, how would you expand it? Would you go into the water? It doesn't really make sense. And just lie after uncontrollable and easily disprovable lie. Let's continue.
As far as this is concerned, we want no violence, never violence. We want absolutely no violence. And on the impeachment, it's really a continuation of the greatest witch hunt in the history of politics. It's ridiculous. It's absolutely ridiculous. This impeachment is causing tremendous anger, and you're doing it, and it's really a terrible thing that they're doing.
Now, of course, at this point, Trump saying never violence is silly. It's saying you work only with fire extinguishers, not matches, after you've already set fire to a house and it has burned down. And then you say, I'm a fire extinguisher guy. At this point forward, of course, I'm a fire extinguisher guy. And again, they want to put the impeachment on Democrats. Democrats are divisive for considering impeachment. Trump did the thing that is impeachable. And as usual, the party of personal responsibility taking no personal responsibility whatsoever. Never. I mean, Donald Trump is going to leave office never having taken responsibility for any of his failures. And he just continues attacking Democrats.
For Nancy Pelosi and Chuck Schumer to continue on this path, I think it's causing tremendous danger to our country, and it's causing tremendous anger. I want no violence. Thank you very much.
Once again, impeachment causing anger. Recent poll, most people want Trump removed, period. We talked about that earlier this week. The anger is over what Donald Trump did, and his supporters went into last Wednesday already angry, thanks to 2 months of lies told to them by Donald Trump and Rudy Giuliani and Kayleigh McEnany and on and on. Lies telling them Joe Biden stole this election. Joe Biden didn't really win. That's why they were angry. And now to say Democrats are causing anger. Give me a break, guys. It's not even it's too ridiculous to even pass the sniff test. And then that was Trump on his way out. Once Trump landed in Texas, again, we heard from Donald Trump talking to press there, this time going after big tech. Take a listen.
I think that big tech is doing a horrible thing for our country and to our country. And I believe it's going to be a catastrophic mistake for them. They're dividing and divisive, and they're showing something that I've been predicting for a long time. I've been predicting it for a long time, and people didn't act on it. But I think big tech has made a terrible mistake and very, very bad for our country. And that's leading others to do the same thing. And it causes a lot of problems and a lot of danger.
So far, the people to blame right now are Democrats, media, big tech. Still nothing from Trump on the riotous insurrection he incited last week. in terms of taking any responsibility, when in reality, that's where the primary bulk of the responsibility is. And once again, everybody but Trump is to blame. You might also notice that Trump glitches at the end of this next clip on the word violence. If you're watching, you'll again see that spasm-like thing that we've seen throughout his presidency. We still don't really know much about that.
Big mistake. They shouldn't be doing it. But there's always a counter move when they do that. I've never seen such anger as I see right now, and that's a terrible thing. Terrible thing. And you have to always avoid violence. And we have tremendous support. We have support probably like nobody's ever seen before. Always have to avoid violence.
And then finally, Donald Trump asked about the Capitol directly and the speech that he gave, which said, we're going to go down to the Capitol. And here is Donald Trump's answer.
What is your role in what happened at the Capitol? What is your personal responsibility?
So if you read my speech, and many people have done it, and I've seen it both in the papers and in the media, on television, it's been analyzed, and people thought that what I said was totally appropriate. And if you look at what other people have said, politicians at a high level, about the riots during the summer, the horrible riots in Portland and Seattle and various other places, that was a real problem, what they said. But they've analyzed my speech and my words and my final paragraph, my final sentence, and everybody to the T thought it was totally appropriate. Okay, thank you.
So the speech he refers to is the one where he said half an hour before the riot, let's walk down Pennsylvania Avenue and go to the Capitol, and we're going to fight, and we'll never give up, and on and on and on. That's the speech he says was totally appropriate. So effectively, Trump trying to rewrite history, taking no responsibility for the riot he caused, while blaming Democrats and big tech for causing the danger. That's not a speech. Those statements are extraordinarily dangerous. And Trump, of course, used the word fight or fighting nearly 24 times during that speech that he says was fine. And he said at 12:30, let's go to the Capitol. 45 minutes later, the riotous insurrection was starting. Now, in the meantime, as I told you yesterday, the risk of even more violence is huge. And so even these, aside from it being obviously dishonest and completely ridiculous for the president to try to rewrite history in this way, we're also not past the point of danger. According to an FBI bulletin, we talked about this yesterday, armed protests like the January 6th protest are, quote, being planned at all 50 state capitals starting Saturday through at least January 20th. And these are tragic times. And we are almost done with Trump. We're 7 days away, but there is the real risk of more violence over the next week. And that's something we all need to be paying attention to. If one of your goals for the new year is to cut back on carbs and sugar, check out one of our sponsors, Monk Pack. Monk Pack Keto Granola Bars fill you up and taste like your favorite sweet snacks, but they just have 1 gram of sugar, just 2 grams of net carbs at only 140 calories. They have a soft, chewy texture, and they come in delicious flavors like coconut cocoa chip, peanut butter, and maple pecan or pecan or pecan. It's all of the above, actually. They're perfect for a quick breakfast, a snack between Zoom calls, or a late night treat. Not only are they keto friendly, they're gluten-free, grain-free, plant-based, no soy, trans fats, or sugar alcohols, no artificial colors. And Monk Pack is so confident in their keto snacks that they back them with a 100% money-back guarantee. Try it for yourself and you'll see how delicious these are. You'll get 20% off when you go to monkpack.com and use coupon code PAKMAN. The link is underneath this video.